Welcome to At the Disney Movies with the Hearts.
I'm Kelly.
I'm David.
And this week, it's the classic retelling of your childhood favorite Stockholm Syndrome story that you didn't need or wanted.
Or ever needed to ever see.
No, it's bad.
Beauty and the Beast from 2017.
My dear Belle, you're so ahead of your time. This is a small village.
You are the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. Nobody deserves you.
And it's small-minded as well. But small also means safe.
This movie, I saw it in theaters, obviously, and I remember why I didn't really want to watch it again.
Because it's garbage.
It's so goddamn long.
It's super long.
Oh my god, like we were halfway through the movie and you went up to get a drink and you paused it and both of us were like, oh my god, it's only been an hour.
So, do you remember one of my complaints, I believe, about the first movie was, it's too fucking long. They needed to cut stuff from the original movie.
I don't remember you saying that about the original movie.
I'm pretty sure I said it about the original movie.
No, but they made it long in parts of this movie that it didn't need to be long.
That's what I mean. And they even cut stuff out. There's no wackadoodle dad.
Well, what are we waiting for? I'll have this thing fixed in no time. Hand me that the dog-legged clincher there.
Do you think I'm odd?
My daughter? Odd? Where would you get an idea like that?
We're going to get into the casting in a little bit, which is my main problem with this movie is almost all of the casting, 98% of it.
Hang on a second. I have, all but one.
Yeah, I'm curious which one that is, but we'll get into that. But no, the original one obviously is one of my top-rated movies that we've watched because I love the animated one because I think it's such a good movie and the songs are so amazing and the story is so good. And
and it's very genuine where this lacks any kind of genuine feel to it.
The original Beauty and the Beast, I was crying at the end of the original Beauty and the Beast. I didn't tell you that, but I always cry at the end of the original Beauty and the Beast. She's like, don't leave, I love you. And this one, I don't really feel anything.
No. Please don't leave me. I love you.
Oh, no.
There's no genuine... And they took out one of the sweetest parts of the original movie and just made it kind of like an afterthought.
Which one was that?
Okay, I'm just gonna say it. The whole library thing, yeah. In the animated movie, that is my favorite part because it's the sweetest thing where he's like, I have a present for you. And I'm like, oh my god, it's so cute.
Well, right, and it's an important scene, and here it's just kind of like...
An afterthought.
It's not only it's an afterthought, but he's like, oh, I'm just as cool as you.
Well, there are a couple of things in here you could start with. Are you all right?
It's wonderful.
Yes, I suppose it is.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Dude, that's not really how it was presented, bro.
But I do appreciate that it wasn't a shot-for-shot remake.
I don't appreciate that because they did a worse job.
No, it was worse. I would rather have this than how they did The Lion King, where it was literally a shot-for-shot remake.
No, I have to disagree.
No, I thought The Lion King was way worse than this.
No, because if you're... Yes, but... It's not because they didn't do a shot-for-shot remake. It's because The Lion King is more beloved than this.
Correct, sir.
Maybe. I liked this better. In terms of a remake to remake, I liked this better than The Lion King.
Maybe. I don't know.
Not much, but I just think they at least tried. They tried something.
I don't really feel like they tried. I just feel like they did something. There's we did a thing. Here we go.
No money motivations at all.
No, none.
They made a stupid amount of money on this movie.
So why don't you synopsize this?
Okay,
bitch?
I will synopsize it. 2 hours and 18 minutes. Jesus fucking Christ. That is too long for this movie.
A whopping 45 minutes too long.
So long. Beauty and the Beast from 2017. Romance, family, fantasy, musical. The story and characters you know and love come to life in the spectacular live-action adaptation of Disney's animated classic Beauty and the Beast. Celebrating one of the most beloved tales ever told, experience the fantastic journey of Belle, a bright, beautiful, and independent young woman who sets off to rescue her father, but is taken prisoner by a beast in his castle. Despite her fears, she befriends the castle's enchanted staff and learns to look beyond the beast's hideous exterior to realize the kind heart of the true prince within. Some flashing light sequences and patterns may affect photosensitive viewers.
So here's the first problem. Belle is not beautiful.
Can you imagine? Me!
Emma Watson is handsome. She's a fine-looking young lady, but she's not beautiful. Nobody's like, oh my god, Emma Watson. And she's not French, which they should have probably gotten a French girl.
There's not some modern-day Mehmet Lemieux type lady from Monkeys Go Home. Like, that lady is French.
Oh, I'm sure there's 20.
But that's what I mean, is that there was no actual French people... except for, I think, one cast in this movie, the feather duster lady, she's French. But there was no actual...
Yeah, it was all English people, which was the correction they could have made from the original.
It's just, I'll just say it. Emma Watson is the biggest problem with this movie. She is such a terrible actress, and I'm sorry, but, like, she's not a good actress at all.
She's really not.
And I don't know what other choices they had. It seemed, honestly, that this was their only choice.
So you know all the other choices they had? All of the other choices. They could have chosen literally anybody else. If I was them, I would have Googled French pop singer and saw what comes up and cast that person instead. Or, wait, no. Brunette. French.
You can dye anybody's hair. Like, it doesn't matter.
I'm just saying. That's what I would have done.
She's just so bland. And Emma Watson is a very, like, youthful looking person. And to me, Belle is supposed to be a little bit, not old, but she just seems a little bit mid-20s.
Well, she's supposed to be hot.
Well, no, it's just Belle is like...
You should want her as a man.
I guess, but Belle, to me, seems like she should be more mature, and Emma Watson seems like a little kid playing dress-up.
Okay, so I thought that maybe more mature was more mature for her age, but okay, I could see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, when I see Emma Watson, it just seems like she's playing dress-up. She doesn't strike... I don't know. She just seems youthful to me, and it's not in a good way.
Like I said, she's handsome.
Such a handsome lady.
So our director was one of those good old-fashioned didn't do crap.
Well, I mean, he directed Dreamgirls, which was a big musical when it came out.
I'm sure it was huge.
No, it really was. And he directed the Breaking Dawn movies and Twilight. That's a big deal.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he directed both the third and fourth Twilight movies.
Oh, wait, third and fourth? No,
yeah.
That's about on the same quality stage as this.
But he's also... So, he loves Ian McKellen, because Ian McKellen was in this small part, but he was in some movie called Mr. Holmes, and a newer one called The Good Liar. He loves working with Ian McKellen, apparently, because he's directed all those movies.
Ian McKellen is awful in this movie.
Okay, anybody who's notable who was in this movie, you don't even realize it's them. I honestly forgot Ewan McGregor was in this movie. Didn't know it was him until the credits came up.
There is no world in which Lumiere, a Frenchman, should be played by a fucking Scotsman, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
He's awful at it. He ruins the best song of the fucking movie.
I've been living with I'm married to a Frenchwoman 20 years, more than 20 years. And I thought, I can do the French accent. And I got there and I couldn't at all.
What's the point?
It was really an odd choice. And when, and I love Emma Thompson. And she's...
Oh, and she's awful. She is terrible.
She's not good at this part. And I love Stanley Tucci. And his small part was just... unmemorable.
What was that? Was that even in the original movie?
No, but it was in the musical, like the Broadway show.
See, that was my other problem, is that this seemed like they filmed a Broadway show, and it's terrible because nobody likes a filmed Broadway show. It's always a mistake, and it seems like that's what they were trying to do, was film a play, pass it off as a remake of the fucking movie, and it's just gross and awful and stupid.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the only reason that Emma Watson was this part is because the writer, Stephen, I can't even pronounce the name, Chbosky. So he wrote the book and wrote the screenplay for Perks of Being a Wallflower, which Emma Watson starred in, which is the only movie I've ever liked that she's been in.
Well, except for the Harry, except for his Hermione Granger, I guess.
But
she was kind of Hermione Granger by default by being casted at 7 or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's probably the main reason that he was like pushing for her, because he wrote the screenplay for this. So I'm pretty sure that was a big part of it. The only person I thought was cast well was Josh Gad as LeFou, because guess he played LeFou in the Broadway production.
Well, so I kind of agree and kind of disagree. He doesn't play LeFou as LeFou.
Well, no, it's a different... They kind of changed his character.
Which is disappointing, but he did it good. And I'm fine with that. I thought the good casting was Dan Stevens as the Beast. I thought the Beast was good.
Well, I saw her in the ballroom and said, "You're making everything look so beautiful, we should have a dance tonight." I never imagined she'd actually say yes. What was I thinking?
No.
Yeah, he was okay. I mean,
well, no, he did his part. His voice acting wasn't annoying, and he looked exactly like the fucking guy they drew.
Okay, so you mean when he was human?
Yeah,
for the 5 seconds.
Yeah, he looked just like that guy.
Yeah, the disappointing hot prince.
Yeah.
And she's even, look at that. That was actually a couple of funny lines in the movie when she's like, "Do you think about you should grow a beard?" I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually funny. And it was at the end of the movie.
Right. But no, aside from Emma Watson, the worst casting, well, there's two. Kevin Kline as Maurice is one of the most horrible things ever.
Oh, I like it, but they just didn't let him be Maurice.
That's what I mean. Maurice is supposed to be literally a loose cannon, kind of a nut job.
Yeah, he should have been like Mr. Fishover, who he plays.
Right, and he's over here all like making these intricate art pieces and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no.
Right, they made him a serious character instead of letting Kevin Kline be crazy Kevin Kline, which is a good Kevin Kline. They made him serious Kevin Kline, and it fucked it up.
It wasn't, I was bothered by that right away.
Yeah, so was I. And then my biggest, what the fuck did you do, is Luke Evans as Gaston.
I know. Okay.
You need a gigantic buff man as Gaston.
You know who could have been a good Gaston?
The Rock?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like The Rock or Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman's like 3 feet tall. Patrick Warburton would have been a good Gaston if he can sing.
Oh, he would have been really good. He would have been really good. He could have had the voice.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he's tall and buff.
Because like this guy can sing, but like not in the way that Gaston sings.
He's barely bigger than Josh Gad.
Yeah,
he needs to be fucking huge and ripped.
But I was thinking The Rock the whole time, because The Rock can sing.
Yeah. Would have been awesome as The Rock. The Rock could be pulled off as a Southern Frenchman. I don't care. That would have been fine. Yeah. It would have been better than Emma Watson as the goddamn Belle.
Yeah, I know, but it's the casting was all over the place. That was honestly my biggest problem with this movie, was the casting was horrible because they're such iconic characters. And
Emma Thompson as Angela Lansbury is just disgusting. I
don't know who else they would have picked, but
a lady that has an old fucking lady voice.
Yeah,
you have to have the charm of the original movie are the people who played the original characters. It was so important to have that kind of offbeat charm that Angela Lansbury brought. She wasn't perfection. She was offbeat.
What about Betty White? Would she be too old, though,
I don't even think she can sing.
The problem is, Mrs. Potts is supposed to be like an old lady, but she also has a kid. So you can't have someone too old.
Right, but that's who Angela Lansbury kind of was. It's like the oldish... I mean, because Mrs. Potts didn't sound old at all. She just sounded English. Why did everybody have to be English?
That was... the fact that Emma Watson is just English, and she's from France, apparently.
And all the help was English. Mr. Cogsworth, which don't even get me fucking started.
On Ian McKellen.
That was so bad.
If the master finds out you violated his orders and fed her, he will blame me.
Yes, I will make sure of it.
It was pretty bad.
So
flat,
impersonal, flat, and the way that they animated Cogsworth and Lumiere and Mrs. Potts was terrible. Give them big eyes. Give them a something pleasant to look at.
Yeah,
don't give me this flat little ghost over a fucking pot. Give me a break.
Yeah, it was.
What is that?
It was so strange because the only part of this movie that I think was outstanding was all the set pieces and the cinematography and like the visuals of it were really cool. Like all the set pieces and like some of the sequences were really cool.
I thought they were cool, but they were almost so over the top that you couldn't tell what was happening.
It was a lot. There was a lot happening.
In a lot of places I was like, I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
I would have had a seizure.
David, stop. Look away from the screen.
So, moving on to fun facts, which there were very few of.
Well, there was a lot of facts. Not very many were fun.
That's what I mean.
But my favorite one that I was just like, oh, that's actually kind of crazy, is that Ian McKellen turned down the original part of Cogsworth in 1991.
Well, thank God.
He was offered that part. Because the
Thank
original,
God.
I don't remember who played the original Cogsworth, but his voice is so iconic in that part. Ian McKellen is not right for that.
And it was animated and good. It had zest. It had behind it. And Ian McKellen is not that person. He's an old guy who's supposed to be like Dumbledore.
Yeah. It's,
No, he's not... No. He's supposed to be more dandy and more...
He's supposed to be more like almost like a George Costanza type, honestly.
Yeah, almost. Yes.
Like that.
They would have been better off with Jason Alexander.
I mean, really though, because that's what I mean. He's supposed to be kind of like a obnoxious kind of. I don't know how to describe it, but
as good as I can do is that Dan Stevens turned to Wreck-It Ralph to try and channel the Beast, which I just think is funny.
You mean like he watched it to try
and like kind of modeled it after Wreck-It Ralph, and I just like Wreck-It Ralph. So.
Which we kind of skipped over that, but I guess Dan Stevens' biggest thing is Downton Abbey. That's the main thing he's famous
and
for.
a shitload of British television. I mean, TV on TV that we have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of him, he was wearing 10-inch stilts, so the height of the Beast was 6'10" in this movie.
Which seems about right when you compare it to the cartoon. He should be about that tall.
Yeah.
But like...
That would make dancing so difficult.
But it looked difficult in the original movie. But couldn't you cast like a tall guy?
I mean... He's pretty tall if he's 6 feet tall.
I feel like there's like 6 wrestlers that they could have cast as the Beast.
The Rock? I don't know.
No. You needed the blonde guy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I feel like you could have just cast a lot of different... Because even when he's a human, he doesn't have to talk. It just... I don't know.
I don't even think he talks in the animated one when he's human.
And they even said that so Emma Watson had to act with dummies.
Because they're all animated.
So that she could point her face in the right direction.
That would be so awkward.
Which makes sense because she's a fucking terrible actress.
And her face just doesn't really have much expression. Like, people talk about Kristen Stewart being a bad actress, but like...
I would put those two on the same exact level.
Yeah, their face doesn't change. Like, there's no expression.
Yeah, they both got lucky with something early on in their career.
Yeah.
And they're both really bad actresses. And that shows because you don't see them anymore.
No, not so much. Another fact I had is Ewan McGregor admitted in an interview that he's never watched the original Beauty and the Beast.
That makes sense with his age.
But I'm just...
No, it makes sense because he's like 10 years older than me, which means he was way too cool for school to be watching Beauty and the Beast.
Doesn't he have kids, though? I mean, I don't know. It's just...
No, it's like that weird transition where he, maybe not. And, I mean, come on, do you think he's really that involved? He, like, films himself riding across the country in a motorcycle? Like, he doesn't care.
Does he actually do that?
That was a show at one point, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I think Ewan McGregor's more into Ewan McGregor than much else. I know nobody wants to hear that, but I think that's probably true.
It's fine. I mean, it's okay. Yeah. He can be into himself. It's fine. Yeah. Everybody else is, so
exactly.
It's fine.
That's kind of what I mean.
No, we don't really have to go through the plot, because honestly...
We did it already.
We did it already, but a few things...
Oh, so here's the first thing. The first scene, they had to do super accurate French, which I didn't need, and then they abandoned it for the rest of the movie.
It didn't make sense. It
was totally incongruous. I was pissed. I was like, okay, whoa. You gave me super accurate French, which I didn't need, but then you gave me no French for the rest of the movie?
Oh, how divine, glamour, music, and magic combine. See the maiden so anxious to shine. Look for a sign that enhances chances. She'll be his special one. What a display! What a...
When you say that, do you mean in the intro, like, narration part with the scene of celebration, or where do you mean that exactly?
Like with all the dancing ladies with the wigs and...
Oh, you mean so just French culture? Like Okay.
Here, it looks like it's going to be a period piece, and they fucking abandon it right away, and I'm like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, it's...
Everybody's English after this. Why?
I do appreciate the opening bit because they did kind of explain. They were like, oh, they erased everyone's memories from the outside world.
I did like that. That was good. That was smart.
I appreciate that because in the first one, why does nobody know this castle is here? It doesn't make any sense. Like, because they had all these parties and all this stuff. Okay, we already talked about Belle and Maurice. Oh, right. Okay, so when we saw this in theaters, when Maurice is, like, running from the wolves, I legit was like, oh, what's going to happen? Like, for a hot second, I was like, oh, these are wolves, they're scary. And I told Alex that, and she's like, Kelly, you've seen the animated movie. You know what's going to happen. I'm like, I know, but I thought that scene was actually pretty effective.
But the first scene that Gaston is in, I'm like, oh, he is weak. He is awfully weak. What am I watching? Gaston has to be dick first, balls out, chin out. And this guy is none of the three.
It's really off-putting right away. And that opening number of the Belle song, just, it
was fine, because in the original, it was super long.
Yeah, I know, but that's one of the best scenes of the movie. It's just such
I actually thought that this was kind of close. I didn't think that this was that bad.
It was okay.
Other than Gaston being
not a good Gaston.
Just, flat.
No, it's just...
Because, I mean, one of the first things I wrote down was truly not buying Gaston.
No,
I'm not buying it.
It just... Okay, we did this play in high school, my senior year of high school, and the kid who played Gaston in our high school did a better job than this guy.
I would believe that, like, times 10.
It just is I don't know. It just didn't really make sense.
I always harken back to the Sweeney Todd that we saw from the high school kids. It was better than a lot of things I've seen on off-Broadway.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then we get the wolves, because her dad's on, like, right away. It's weird, because we don't get this quick in the original movie.
Yeah.
But he's just, like, right on the wolves, and they don't track. That's weird. This whole scene doesn't make sense in live action.
No, I mean, it doesn't.
Well, no, I mean, it makes sense, but it looks stupid.
I like this part, actually.
I don't like it at all.
I mean, I know what you mean. Like, it looks strange because how would he really get away? Because the horse, just shows up all of a sudden.
I get him getting away. I get all that. But without, like, the cool, like, closeness of animation, the drama of it kind of falls a little flat.
Yeah, no, that's the whole thing, is that the whole movie, any of the dramatic scenes, for the most part, did fall a little flat. I still enjoyed the wolf scene, but...
And there's no personality for Felipe.
That's true. The horse does have some great personality.
Throughout the whole movie.
I mean, it's kind of hard to make a live-action horse.
But I feel like you can do that when you're doing AI kind of shit. Like,
that's true. That's very true.
Why not?
I mean, yeah, why not? Like, give him a big old fat smile, big old, like, scared eyes.
Like, well, make him communicate. Because it's not that hard.
In this scene in the animated movie, Philippe there was a lot of, like you said, character, because he's like, I'm not fucking going that way.
Exactly.
And that wasn't any of this. The horse was just like, okay, whatever you say.
And if you're going to do all this stuff, do that too. Don't make him just go, and that will come up again and again for me.
So when Maurice gets to the castle, this is where I was like, what? He just helps himself to food, helps himself to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and fire, food. Oh, I'm taking off. Oh, now I'm going to pinch a rose.
Okay, this part, and I didn't remember it from the original, time I saw this movie, not the original movie, but he's just kind of a dick. Like, the original Maurice was just kind of, help, I'm scared, I need help, blah, 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 and the characters all came and befriended him and all this, and this was just kind of him being kind of a dick.
Yeah, yeah.
He just kind of goes around and it's like, yeah, he's going to put you in his little jail because you are just being a dick. But also, I don't know why he wouldn't just let him go. But
Right. Because he just took a little bit of food and a flower.
The whole interaction with Belle and Gaston, like the two of them.
Oh, yeah, it didn't work at all.
No, and in the animated one, that whole sequence is one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, it's funny. And then here, he's just like stepping on some cabbage and being a dick, and she's just like, fuck off, and I didn't even actually write anything about it down.
And any time that Emma Watson opens her mouth to sing, I just get upset because she can't fucking sing.
Madame Gaston, can't you just see it? Madame Gaston, his little wife. Ugh! No, sir, not me. I guarantee it. I want much more than this provincial life. I want adventure in the great wide somewhere.
I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, she can.
No, and so the whole thing where she's like, Madame Gaston, boop, boop, that whole sequence in the animated movie is, I think, one of my favorite parts, and it was just so flat here. You know,
well, it's not the only song that was super flat.
Yeah, I know, and it's just...
Forever can spell a minute.
Oh, yeah, where Belle goes to get her dad, and... it's just her acting is so bad, it's so uncomfortable. Okay, the Gaston song. This is one of my biggest problems, even though Josh Gad did as best as he could with the material.
It's one of the best songs of any Disney movie of all time, and here it's fucking dreck. It is a complete abortion of any kind of song we've ever seen in a movie.
I mean, they added a dance break.
Yeah.
They made it longer. And I'm like, why?
Right. This whole scene just shows Gaston as the ultimate townie.
Oh my god. Like he works at the carnival in the summer.
No. Townie. So, like, if you go to a college town, he's like the hot guy at the college town and the best guy at the college town. But if you... Or just small town. But if you moved him to, like, a medium-sized town, he'd be... just a little goldfish swimming in the pond.
Yeah, that's like the whole point. I mean, that's the whole point.
It is, but they almost overplay that he's just a townie shithole garbage bag.
Yeah, it's
because in the movie he's powerful.
In the animated movie. Yeah. And that's part of the problem is that he's not, so it just kind of falls completely flat.
Yeah.
So back at the castle with the Be Our Guest segment. So, I mean, the visuals are crazy. Like, there's a lot going on, and it's really...
I could not be more mad about how they butchered the song.
I know.
The song in the original movie is sweeping and gathering and huge and bombastic and fully symphonic, and this is garbage. What did they do?
It's so kind of drags a little bit in parts, and
it does.
Like, visually
it was smaller. Really... It's smaller.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? This is supposed to be the big number. There's supposed to be hundreds of people singing at the same time, not you and McGregor. I mean, be our guest. Fuck off.
Guest, be our guest. Put our service to the test. Tie your napkin round your neck, Sherry, and we'll provide the rest. Soup du jour, hot hors d'oeuvre. Why, we only live to serve. Try the gray stuff, it's delicious. Don't believe me, ask the dishes.
Yeah, it was not good. And I remember thinking that when I saw it in the theaters.
I mean, there's like cymbals crashing and it's not played down. This is like a played down, like, oh, jazz version of beer. Fuck you.
David is not amused.
No, at this point, I got really mad. Because that is one of, once again, even better than Gaston's song, this is truly one of the most iconic Disney songs.
Yeah.
And they fucking ruined it.
Yeah. Very strange. And then one of the changes they made where LeFou and Gaston like tie Maurice to a tree in the forest.
Yeah,
but I actually kind of didn't really hate this part because it kind of...
No, I didn't like it. But although I did like the Agatha portion.
That's what I mean. I feel like this tied in a little, and that's why I appreciated it wasn't a shot-for-shot remake, and it also added in the whole I want to marry your daughter, and he's like, fuck no.
Yeah, I liked all of that. I wish that the Agatha thing kind of would have tied into some more speaking roles and a little bit more into the end.
But that was
it did tie into the end, which is good.
And that was one of the better changes.
It really was.
I felt in the movie.
Like, oh, hey, this lady says, okay, I'm breaking the curse.
Yeah, as opposed to just Disney magic.
Yeah.
Tears. Oh, so then there are some new songs in this too, because the Days in the Sun thing, that was like a brief little song.
Days in the sun, when my life has barely begun. Not until my whole life is done will I ever leave you.
I don't know if that was in the Broadway show.
No, it was not. And it was stupid. And I did not like it at all.
So the old woman, Agatha, she finds Maurice. And that's a whole new scene that wasn't...
he got saved by the Mountain Witch.
Yeah.
Instead of just being called crazy in town...
But it added, like we talked about, it added.
It did add. But once again, we didn't get the wackadoodle crazy Maurice that we should have gotten.
I know, that was
the fun Disney movie Maurice. No, we just got serious Kevin Kline, which he can do wackadoodle. He's good at wackadoodle, and he didn't do it. Well, I have a feeling they made him not do it. Because
they were trying to make it more serious. Because apparently live action means serious, but whatever.
Which was a huge mistake for this whole movie, is making it more serious.
We already talked about the library thing, but they basically... Their whole bonding thing, which they did an okay job with adding some stuff, but...
I guess.
The whole thing of him not... giving her the library, just kind of an afterthought, really bothered me.
Oh, he said it's yours, but...
No, but it wasn't like... In the animated one, he's like, I want to do something nice for her. I want to show... And it was a whole thing of he gave it to her type of thing, and it wasn't...
So, and even, so he tells a joke, and Belle's so charmed. Right here, I was like, Hermione Granger is a 0. She's literally a fucking 0.
Yeah.
I apologize, but... Emma Watson...
It's just not right for this part.
She's not up to this.
No. Because Belle is such an iconic character.
She's not just iconic, but she's played well in the movie that she's in. It's something that you don't just go, well, let's willy-nilly throw the dice on. Bleh.
It's really upsetting. But then they did add a few things that I was like, okay, I kind of enjoyed... I like this change... The teleportation book thing, because they tied that into the beginning, and I kind of liked this part, actually.
It was okay.
But it was a nice change. At least they tried to change something.
Here's the thing. If they're going to change that, they need to cut other stuff.
Right, no, I agree. They did need to cut other stuff, but I did appreciate that they tried to add some stuff to give a little bit of backstory exposition of, where's Belle's mom?
But the plague, really? The plague?
I guess. More
she
realistic.
She could have just gotten run over by, a horse and carriage or something like that.
The plague.
The plague. Was this really the plague times? I don't think so.
I don't know.
The plague just seemed like a cheap excuse. I wanted something more tragic.
David wanted...
I wanted she fell down the stairs or something.
Maurice pushed her down the stairs.
Why didn't you tell me, Dad? Because I'm an asshole.
She didn't like my clock designs. So I hit her over the head with a clock.
That's right.
Or whatever the parts of clocks are.
And then we get the Mo and Gaston face-off in the tavern scene, which wasn't in the original.
No, but I
However, if they would have faced off like this, guess who would have not won? Gaston.
Right, because if they had made Maurice seem more crazy like in the animated one, this would have been believable, but it wasn't believable because he was a totally normal person and the whole town seemed like they were his friend.
And he had a fucking witness even though she was the hag. Who cares if she's the hag?
Right.
He had a witness. It didn't... I was completely bumped. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
It was a good idea to throw in to tie everything in, but because they didn't have Maurice be kind of crazy, and that was the problem with the whole thing, is that it fell apart because he didn't actually seem crazy.
And then we get the Beauty and the Beast song, which I'm sorry, Emma Thompson.
I know. You just can't compare it to Angela Lansbury. I mean, it's just,
Well, and that says something about the casting. Is what are you looking for? You need that country, authentic, maybe a little off-centered voice to make this song work.
And again, visually, very beautiful scene. Very cool. All the stuff was the lights and all the stuff that was going on. There was a lot going on. But the animated one was more effective.
I couldn't care because it was more effective. So all of the animated scenes, I feel like, were more effective because here they were focusing on, how beautiful everything is. The animated movie, everything was more focused on what's going on and what you need to pay attention to.
Yeah, and the emotional part of the characters.
That's what I mean.
And just, and like the whole thing after this where, oh, my dad and blah, 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 and all this, it was just more effective at tugging at your heartstrings, and he was like, you gotta go. Like, it was more believable. And
I didn't have a heartstring in this movie.
But that's what I mean, is that was the biggest problem, is that there wasn't any emotional attachment because the casting and...
yeah, there was no heartstring to play.
Yeah, it was just not...
And then there was a Beast song?
So, this is in the Broadway musical.
Right, but this is a huge... There's no way they should have added Broadway musical songs.
I actually kind of like this song. I think it's fine. Like, I thought... So, if they were going to add stuff, I think this was an okay thing to add.
Right, but you have to take away stuff if you're going to add stuff.
No, I completely agree. But, yeah, this song, the Evermore song, is in the Broadway musical. But it's kind of... When he was singing, I was like, wow, this feels like a Michael Bolton song.
And see, the end part, I don't really remember super well. Did they lock Belle up at the end of the other one?
Yeah, they locked... So, in the animated one, they lock Belle and Maurice in the cellar. Oh. And then Chip is there, and Chip gets the wood chopping machine.
Yeah, because there was a cool machine. That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
And that wasn't, a thing in this one. But yeah, in the...
Yeah, because the whole end, to me, seemed... Let's see, how are we going to put this? Stupid.
And the end of the animated one is like one of my favorite parts. Like the Kill the Beast song in the animated one where Gaston is rallying everyone is one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Right.
And
here it's like, they're already at the castle and they're like, kill the beast. No.
Yeah, and the only part that I did like in the whole Battle of the Castle scene was I did enjoy the wardrobe where she like threw out all of her things, and then one guy was like, "Oh, I'm fabulous."
Yeah, that was funny.
That was really funny. It was hilarious.
But the rest of it played no homage to the original. Was all just kind of confusing, and there was a piano shooting keys at people. Like, why was that? I don't understand. It
wasn't done as well. And
nobody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, because they tried to add a lot of backstory to the side characters
without adding the backstory.
Right, and it just was all not done very well.
I feel like once again this would have been better as a Cruella-esque movie,
right?
Where they were telling a different story.
Right, exactly. Like it should have been, and I feel like they halfway went there with some of the stuff,
right?
But they should have really just gone all the way.
Yeah,
like
they should have just said, "Oh no, we're not doing shot for shot. We're going to do a different story and a different style of this, and that's what we're going to do."
Like, it almost would have been better if the entire thing was told from the Beast perspective.
That would have been good.
And, they cut out some of the songs, the whole Belle at the beginning. Like, I don't know. I just feel like they could...
The Provençal song?
Yeah, like, I feel like if they were going to do that, it could have been just... better.
Yeah.
And I did like the very, very end though, where all the objects get frozen and they turn into like regular objects.
So I kind of like that, other than it happened all the time in the original. They could kind of do that at any time.
Right, but it's like permanent, like you're dead now, kind of. Yeah, but then when the Agatha lady, very Titanic.
And it was like, oh, we're gonna do Titanic now.
Yeah, exactly. But no, and I did like how they tied the Agatha old hag thing back
I did too. That was the only really redeeming part of this movie, is that they were like, oh, well, let's bring the old lady in the woods back and make her say, okay, I judge this curse ended.
Well, and they tied it in throughout the movie, which I did appreciate that. And I think that was done better than the original. That was the only thing that was better than the original, is because in the original one, it's just like she says she loves him before the petal falls, so everything magically goes back to normal.
Right.
But this is more of like a... Yeah. Makes sense.
And I like that at the end of the movie, the townspeople they take the membrol.
Remember TIE Fighters? Oh, remember Jawas? Remember? Hey, remember Jurassic Park? Oh, you love Jurassic Park. Remember Jeff Goldblum? Oh, I remember Jeff Goldblum. He was fantastic. I love Jeff Goldblum. Remember?
Yeah.
Barry's and like, oh, I remember you.
Yeah, and Mrs.
Oh, I remember the Countess Castle. I remember. Oh, Mr. Potts, I remember.
You feeling better, Ocho?
Oh my God, Mr. Potts, blah, blah, blah. But, like, how old are we now?
But it seems like they aged together, kind of, which is nice. That it made it kind of wrap up in a nice bow.
And there was a funny part at the end too, when Ian McKellen's wife comes and he's like, "Turn back into a clock, turn back into a clock." So I mean, there were a couple funny parts, but it's just
true. So songs and music, I don't think anything they added anything to it, and all of the songs that they did from the originals were worse by a lot. Except for maybe the Provincial song was as good.
The Provincial song was okay.
It was as good, maybe.
We'll only disagree with, I did like the Beast song because I like the Beast having his own song.
Yeah.
But so
I'll agree with that.
I actually, in the song in the Broadway musical, it's a good song. And that was the only song that they changed that I liked, was adding that. But they didn't even add the best song in the Broadway musical is Human Again, that they added.
No, we did not need anything.
No, I know we didn't need it, but I'm saying if they're going to add stuff, like, because that's a whole song when all of the, Mrs. Potts and Lumiere and all them, they get together and they sing about, when we're human again, we'll be human again, I'll be good looking again, and all this other stuff, and they...
Sorry. Okay.
But it's because it's in the Broadway musical, so we did it in high school, and, like, that's one of the better parts of the musical is just the Human Again song, and they didn't add it, which was irritating.
If they would have cut all the rest of the added songs and added that, I could have been okay with that.
Because it's a fun song.
That's what I mean. And then we would also be cutting time.
Yeah.
And the characters, everybody was a minus, except for Beast, who got a plus minus.
Yeah, no, he was good, and like I said, I actually thought LeFou was fine.
Well, yeah, okay.
As in terms of casting,
I struggle with the LeFou thing because LeFou is funny in the original, and he's funny in this, but it's just different, and I don't know. Well, maybe on a reflection, I'd be like, Josh Gad's LeFou is pretty good, but.
Well, because he played him in the original Broadway thing, and he did a good job.
But it's just so different from the real LeFou.
Right. And the problem is that his chemistry with Gaston was not... It was...
Zero.
Right, none. And that was part of the problem. And so I think if they would have had a better Gaston, it would have been... Well, his part would have been better.
I feel like this whole movie pivots on the fact that they needed a better Gaston and Belle.
Yeah. Like, even just those two changes would have been fine. Like,
okay, well, those two changes could have got this to a good movie. And we never got there.
And they added like the Agatha character, which was a good addition.
And Cogsworth, you've got to give me a fucking break with that. He was an important main character in the original, and in this he was kind of an afterthought. He was in a lot of scenes but didn't say a lot. That's not Cogsworth.
Yeah, it was not good. Like I said before, I mean, the cinematography, I personally liked the style of the movie, like in terms of how they shot it, and the castle looked amazing and all of the set design. So
I thought it was beautiful to the point of confusion. Yeah. It was so good looking that you could almost get confused looking at it and like, what am I looking at? Wow.
Yeah, the sets and the costumes were amazing. That was my favorite part of the movie, was the sets and the costumes.
Yeah.
And just the way it was shot was good.
I
really enjoyed it.
It was very pretty. Yeah.
But other than that, it was just not.
I'm not giving this movie any credit for quotable lines.
The only one that I liked is when she's in her room and she's like, "Oh, does everything alive here?" And she's like, "What's your name?" And she picks up the hairbrush, and Cogsworth's like, "That's a hairbrush."
I will agree with that.
I did like that part.
I'll agree. I'll get you there. That was the Moochie moment. So my biggest surprise or disappointment was, why wasn't everybody French?
Yeah, that's a really good one. That is a great point, because I was thinking that the whole time. Anytime Emma Watson opened her mouth, other than being annoyed that she has a horrible singing voice, because Belle has a great singing voice.
Yeah.
But it's not even like in the original animated one, Belle doesn't even have like an over-the-top amazing voice. She just has like a powerful voice.
Nor does she have an accent. She just has a neutral speaking voice.
Which, it would have been better if she had a French accent.
But here they went English, where they should have gone French, or neutral.
People want to talk about, you need to cast the correct people. Cast some fucking French people. Yeah. Like, really?
Oui.
Really?
Ugh.
I was just not amused with that.
And then if you're going to remake a fucking movie like this, why not shorten it?
Better casting.
Or, well, yeah, so...
But yes, shorten it, and if you're going to go with the added story parts, go all the way. Right. Don't just do it halfway.
Well, so this goes into the remake portion. I would have made cuts on cuts on cuts and completely recast the movie. Completely.
Yeah.
You could do this, but you need to recast the entire movie.
Yeah, it just wasn't... It was just really disappointing. But I also remember coming out of the theater and being like, oh, that wasn't very good. Yeah. Not as disappointed as I was with live action Lion King. I was like mad when I came out of the theater. But this one I was just like, oh, I'm probably not going to watch that again.
I'm pretty mad at this too, but... So do you have any final thoughts?
Not really. I mean, I know that this is better than the Lion King remake. From what
know it is.
From what I remember, the Cinderella one is better than this one.
I have a hard time believing that.
101 Dalmatians is better than that. So they kind of just go downhill with each live action remake they do.
I can believe that. Okay. So, all I have to say is fuck this movie.
I figured that I knew you didn't like it. I knew.
Yeah. No, I hated it.
I knew you weren't going to like it.
Yeah,
but,
no. It's not that I didn't like it. I hated it.
But they made a ton of money on this, like a stupid amount of money on this movie.
Yeah, it cost them $255 million, and they made $1.2 billion.
Oh, I had their cost at $160.
I saw a range, and the $250 was the high range, and I bet that's actually what it cost.
But like $1.27 billion.
Billion.
That's a lot of money.
So they made 5 times their money.
Yeah, it's it's cuckoo to me.
Because every dumb motherfucker went to go see it. Sorry,
Kelly. Hey, I went to go see it.
Sorry. Yeah, man, you shouldn't have. And it's sad. So, Kelly, if you had to give this a rating, what would you give this movie as a rating?
I mean, I like the old one so much, but this one is just not good. So I gave this movie a 44% because visually it's really appealing, and it's not like I don't know. I like it because it's a pretty movie, and I like the story a lot. I've always really liked the story of Beauty and the Beast, and I get happy nostalgia thinking about the original movie. But no, it's not very good. I gave it a 44%.
I get all that. I just think that this movie is god awful, and I hope I never see it again. I gave it a 31%.
Oof, that's one of your worst ratings in a while.
Yeah, it really is. What do you think the Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie is?
I think this movie is highly rated because of how much money it made and because of the amount... I feel as though there's a certain bias with the budget and the money. Like, it's got to be at least an 80%.
So with the critics, it's 71%. And the people, it's 80%. So you were in the right range.
Yeah,
But it's far to call this movie beloved.
So this movie, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors and a lot of visual, and I feel as though a lot of people don't really think about it that, oh, this movie's not really that good.
Not good, and people can't sing, and So, now it's time for Kelly's favorite part of the podcast.
Thank God. I need something better than live action Beauty and the Beast. It can't be that hard to get something better, but I don't know.
But could it? I mean, it's hard. This week you get number 219.
80s?
No, 90s.
90s, okay. We're running out of 90s movies.
Late 90s.
Late.
God damn it. So, from 1998, got any guesses?
1998?
Yeah, 1998.
Oof. So that is... Oh, God, it's close to Hercules, but I don't think it's Hercules.
It's not Hercules.
Really close to Hercules. 1998. 2009. Is it live action or animated?
I believe it's animated.
Ooh. Is it Tarzan?
From 1998, it's Mulan. Kelly makes faces.
Oh, I'm so excited. No, dude. Okay. I won't share my opinion. Even though you've seen this before.
Have I?
We watched it together. But this is when you were falling asleep because.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No,
yeah. But I haven't seen it. Yeah,
okay,
I have not seen it. Truthfully, I have not seen it.
This is one of my favorite animated movies.
Well, there you go. So we know what Kelly thinks about the next movie.
From what I remember, it's been a long time since I've watched it.
But you watched it with me, apparently, so it hasn't been that long. 5 years the most.
Do you know the story at all?
I have no... Wait. So is this the Chinese girl? Okay, so I have a very, very, very vague idea of what the story's about, but not really very detailed.
Do you remember anything about it?
I know she's a warrior girl that has to pretend to be a boy, and that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Mulan it's very funny. Like, you got to pay attention to this movie because there are a lot of funny lines in it. Like, a lot of funny lines.
A lot of funny lines.
And really good songs.
Okay. So, in the meantime, if you'd like to follow us on social media, Facebook or Instagram at the Disney Movies.
Like, subscribe, share, leave us a review. 5 stars.
Send us an email at thedisneymovies@gmail.com or anything else.
Yeah, and join us next week for Mulan because you know you love it. We'll make a man out of you.
You totally love it. For now, this has been At the Disney Movies with the Hearts.
I'm Kelly.
I'm David.
Bye!
Bye! Oh, poor Luke. Sorry, buddy.
He's upset because you took his collar off.
Well, yeah, I had to take his goddamn collar off because he kept jiggling his collar.
I'm sorry that you had to watch that movie, David. I knew it was bad. I remembered seeing it in theater. I knew it was bad.
See,
but, I'm so excited.
The problem is going to be Aladdin.
Oh, David wanted to have red wine too. It's
I'm trying not to have to get up.
It's what the French drink.
That's a good boy, Duke. Beauty and the world.
I'm sorry, what?
What?
What is that?
Okay. All right, you ready?
No, hold on.
No,
just give it. Sorry.
Sake.
I'm sorry. Just give it some silence for a second. Well, and your mom's coming upstairs. So.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
Did you guys already watch the bakery show?
What?
Yeah, Mom, we're recording our podcast right now.
You're okay. You're fine. We can watch it again if you really want to watch it, though.
Well, I could watch it by myself.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we watched it at the airport.
Because we were bored.
We were bored.
Yeah.
Oh, kitty.
Okay, so... No, Mom, you can't talk to the cat. Use your coaster for crying out loud.
But it's wobbly.
Great, it's still silent. Flip it over.
I think that might be worse. I'm just scared.
Well, right. It won't fall over if you do it the other way. It might fall over if you do it that way. Yeah, it'll be fine. No, it's fine. It's not going to fall over. It's not that wobbly.
Okay. All right.
So